So, with that, we will get underway. I do see people coming in, but we will get started. And at this point, it is my pleasure and true honor to introduce our next speaker. We do have a keynote address with Tom Porter, Mohawks of Akwesasne. Of course, everybody must be aware Tom is a revered elder, a spiritual leader, an author, who has dedicated his life to the preservation of Mohawk traditions and languages. So at this point, we will turn it over to Tom to address the Assembly.
I'd like to say hello to everybody today, and I'm going to try to put it in the third gear because I know there's time limits and everything. I thought maybe because there's so much to fix and time is of the essence, but even though there's a lot of trauma in our world, especially with the experiences of our relatives that went to the residential schools, there's a lot of fixing to do there, and also the descendants of them, lots of fixing to do. And so, but even though it's kind of dramatic and everything, and kind of sad too, we have to also remember that the Creator put us on this land to walk on this land, not with our bottom lip dragging on the ground. He wants us to laugh too. He wants us to be happy too, not to be sad all the time. So we have to find how to do that. And so I'm going to tell you a story. Maybe it's out of the way, I'm not sure, but I hope it'll make you laugh, because that's part of medicine, laughter. There were three Indian couples. One woman, she's 92 years old, and her husband, he's 92 as well. And her two nieces, they're in their 40s, and their husbands, they're traveling together somewhere. But you know, they don't like to go into a restaurant because they're from the old tradition. Because Canada people and American people has a different value, a different system. And so our system is a little different too. And so you go into the restaurant, the Indians, they don't like to go there. So they travel, they pack a lunch or something, so they don't have to go to a restaurant. One of the reasons, I don't know if you'll understand it, but when you do medicine, traditional medicine, amongst Mohawk people anyway, they got to watch when you're taking medicine. Only you take that medicine, nobody else. It's because you have a ceremony for that. And you got to tell your name to that medicine. And so they kind of hide that medicine till they finish with it. And so when you're taking that medicine, you're not supposed to, if some woman has her month sickness, it'll neutralize the power of that medicine. Or if a woman or a man is pregnant, in the Iroquois way, there's no such thing as just a woman to be pregnant. Her husband is also pregnant too. And that's the Indian way. So we have to watch that. So a man and woman who's pregnant, they can't just go visiting any place. They have to announce, if you're going to go somewhere, to give those people a chance to hide their medicine so you won't ruin their medicine. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, because this is from old time. So that's why they don't like to go to a restaurant, because Canadian people and American people, I don't think they believe in that. So they'll be sick with their monthly, those women, and they're touching the food and everything, and that messes our world up, because of our tradition. So that's one of the reasons I don't like to go. But this 92-year-old woman, the big aunt woman, she says, I'm hungry. We better go in that restaurant. Even if they're going to stare at us, it's okay. But I'm so hungry, I can't wait no more. So they said, let's go in the restaurant. He says, yeah, but they're going to look at us because they always stare at us. She says, that's okay. She says, when we get in there, They got too many forks and nice cloth on the table, flowers in the middle of the table. It reminded me last night at the banquet. I didn't know which fork to use. But that 92-year-old woman told her nieces and their husband, just watch on the corner of your eye how those American Canadian people are doing, what they're talking about and how they're acting. We'll try to behave like that. But don't look directly at them. And we copy them. Okay, they said. So then finally they're sitting down. So the one young niece said to her husband, because you heard them talking, Crees and Mohawks don't talk like that, but they did for this time. And that one Indian lady said to her husband, pass the honey, honey. I never heard a Mohawk say that. And so the other lady, her cousin, said to her husband, pass the sugar, sugar. And so the 92-year-old woman, she's got to get on it too. So she says to her husband, pass the tea bag. Did you get it? Oh, I thought it was kind of cute. And it was true too. But anyways, can I share with you another one? Back in the 60s, middle 60s, maybe of 68, 67, they set out a call from Oklahoma, the traditional leaders, and they said they're going to have a big meeting in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, or the next town I guess is called Henrietta. It's in the middle of the Turtle's Back of North America. And so my old leaders in my house asked me and my aunt if we would go with them, and I'm going to be their interpreter. Because in that time, a lot of those leaders in our house, the men can't really speak English real good. They could talk English, but small English. And so they needed an interpreter. So I went with them. And here's what happened. So there was Lakotas coming, Crees coming, Ojibways coming, Choctaw coming, Seminoles, Arapahoes, all kind. Indian people coming there. And we got there, and we didn't stay in a hotel like this that time. We had to stay in a park and sleep in our sleeping bags in the park. And they had a fire. That's where we could keep warm if we got cold. And everybody pitched in, and we cooked on a fire out there in Oklahoma Park. No chandeliers, nothing. Real-time meeting. So I think here, it's a miracle. And we made it now. We're high class. Number one. It's a good feeling, huh? But tomorrow it's going to be different. Next day, we go back home. Yeah. But anyway, all of a sudden, a pickup truck pulled in. And it had a camper on the back. And my friends came there. It was Thomas Banyaki from the Hopi of Arizona. And with him was his different leaders from the Kivas over there. One man was, I think, 104 years old. And I don't know, the other one was in his 90s, almost 100. And you know, they were in the back of that pickup truck. And they had a mattress in the back. And that's where them Hopi leaders sleep in there as they travel from Arizona to Oklahoma. No airplane. I mean, pickup truck. And that's how we did it in the 60s. And then the old man's going to talk, the 100-some-year-old man, Hopi. Hopi people are only little guys compared to us. Well, I thought it was cute myself, because I was a kid, but I was bigger than them. And those Hopi has long hair, those men. The older the men of the Hopi, you can't tell how long their hair is, though, because they bun it up in the back, tie it up, and they put a nice scarf here all the time. But I caught one of them with their bun down one day, early in the morning. He had his bun off, and he was brushing his hair. And as he brushed his hair at the corner of that where the water is, he was like sponging himself with his bun off and hair. I seen his hair was past his knees. That's a 100 and something years old guy. And as the wind blew, it took his hair like this. Oh, it was a sight to see. I never forgot that. That's when I was younger, that's what I seen. And that old man start to talk, but he don't talk really good English. So Thomas Banyaka was his interpreter. So he talked. And as he was talking, tears came down his cheek. And we wonder, what's he crying for? Because we can't understand Hopi language. And so we have to wait until Thomas talks and interprets what he said. And here's what he said. He said, today, he says, in my language, we would say, Yung Watsanuni, we are so happy because all the different nations are here, the leaders. He said, I'm happy. And he cried. And then he says, probably you're looking at the last real native now. We probably in my generation is the last one. Because we don't have no money. We're not rich. And the American people send missionaries all the time to our community, trying to convert us. Every day, somebody comes to try this different religion, this different religion, that. They want us to believe them and forget our kiva rituals. Year after year. And then they take our kids away to the boarding school in Salt Lake City, run by the Mormons. They keep them there, and they change their mind from being a Hopi to American, I guess. And they become Mormons. When they come home, they're not interested in our way anymore. Or they don't understand it. And this is going on all the time, every day. So only a few of us still left, still doing it, what we're supposed to do, the way the Creator wants us to do. So that's why he said a big tear comes down. Probably you're looking at the last. After this, all Longhouse door is going to close. All ceremony TP are going to close. All Kiva is going to close. Because the young people has been taken away and their mind has been changed. And that's why he said, I'm sad. And my tears is for my young people because they're lost. They don't know where to go, how to go. That's why his tears comes, he says. And I don't know what to do, how to do it. We pray all the time about it. But other than that, I don't know. I don't have no magic like a Tinkerbell does and go like this and everything's going to be good. I don't have that. Only what our Creator give us is what I got. That's all the kind of magic I got. So he says to you young people, and I was a young guy, it's all on your shoulder. And I'm talking to you here, all of you people that's younger or older, especially the young one. young women and young men, the biggest weight in all the world is on your shoulder. Are we going to survive tomorrow as a Hopi, as a Mohawk, as an Inuit, as a Cree, as an Ojibwe, a Mi'kmaq, a Cheyenne, a Lakota? Will we be still here tomorrow? It's up to you. Will our language be here tomorrow? It's up to you. You got a big responsibility on your shoulder. And that's why those of us here needs to cry for you. Will you make the good decision for tomorrow? Because your decision will determine if your children and your grandchildren will be an Ojibwe, a Mohawk, or Seneca, a Lakota, an Inuit. That decision will determine that. Because you, as a future mother and father, it's your responsibility to make sure your kids talk your native language. It's up to you to teach them how to do a ceremony, the one the Creator gave us at the beginning of the world. It's up to you. I wished I was about 50 years younger than I am today. If you start to move you young people to make sure that that happens, that we don't lose, I'll be right with you till the day I die. I'm going to tell you another thing that Hopi man told me. I hope don't get mad though, because it's kind of heavy. Because it bothers me too. Because I get caught in two worlds. Because I remember what he said, that old man. So don't get mad, okay? I'll tell you. He said, when you go to he said, us Indian people, we are good monkeys. Monkey see, monkey do. Did you ever hear that before? Monkey see, monkey. He said, well, we Mohawks and Senecas and Hopi, we're good monkeys. He said, because, and that's where I'm stuck. Because like yesterday and today, and even now, just now, when somebody says something good, we agree. Everybody, that's a monkey see, monkey do. If it's a real human being, when somebody says something good, you say, Mohawk say, toe. Or they have a different way, different nation. But they don't go like this. Only monkeys do that. Oh, lots of monkeys. So you see where we're caught? It's called colonization. It's so deep in that teacher and that priest who's slapping us and knocking them around doesn't have to be physically there anymore. He's in here, bossing us around yet. And that's why we can't get out of it. We can, but it's going to take a lot of power, Indian power. Yeah. But I want to, because of the time's restraint here, I want to tell you first, amongst Haudenosaunee people, I forgot now how long ago it was, but just a few years ago, our leaders from all the nations said, we want to renew the recitals of the Great Law. I think there was reference made yesterday to that yesterday, and it's true. And so we belong to that group that's trying to help do that. We're trying to bring it back together. And when that happened, the first one, which I think maybe 9 or 10 years ago, I can't remember the exact time, a man came to see me when I was sleeping because I used to be on the council for the traditional leadership when I was younger, and I had a big heart attack when I was 49 because of the civil war we had in Akwesasne. And I mean, it was a civil war, and that's what made me almost die. So since that time, they took me off the council, so because I can't have a stress anymore, they said. So they said I can help with funerals, I can help with weddings and things like that, but nothing political stress. So I haven't been to a Grand Council since that time. But they did ask me to be on that committee for the Great Law recitals and the renewal of it. And I never missed yet. The first one here, I'm going to share with you what happened. Me and my wife, we were sleeping about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark. All of a sudden, I hear this thing. Hauksa, satkitsko, danku satkinsa ana, That's what they said. The man is talking Mohawk language. He says, hurry up, get up. You got to go to the meeting over there. And I know that because my wife used to wake me up to go to the meetings when I was on the council. The same thing, but this time it's a man saying, not my wife. And I says, in half sleeping, I says, I don't think so. I mean, in my head I said that. I didn't say it in my mouth because I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to say no because he's an elder guy. I mean, I didn't see his face, but I know his voice. He's an older man. And I says, how can I tell him that I don't go to the meeting anymore and I don't want to go to the meeting anymore without offending him and hurting his feelings? I pondered that. Finally, I came to the conclusion there's no way to diplomatically say no. You just got to say no. And so I said, I'm ready to tell him no with all the courage. And all of a sudden, him and I were shoulder to shoulder like two sticks floating in the air, 10 feet above the ground or more, floating. With our legs not moving, we're just floating. Next thing you know, we got to Syracuse, Onondaga, where the capital of the Confederacy is, where usually all the Grand Council meetings take place. And we're up in the air, just stopped in the air, and he says, he says, now I want you to tell me, what do you see as we're up there in the air? And as I looked behind the longhouse of the Onondagas, there's a field, nice field, and it's still dark yet. I can't really see good. But I seen, just like you guys, as many as you guys are here in this room, but in a circle, several layers of circle, men and women. And every man that was sitting on, they weren't sitting in chairs, and they weren't sitting on benches. They were sitting on the ground. And all those men had a blanket around their shoulder, crossing here and tied on the side. Women had shawls on their head like this, or over their shoulder. And that's what I see. And then he says, can you look again and tell me more what you see? So I really look, because it's not daylight yet, because he told me to look some more, and I did. And as I went around counterclockwise, as I heard the Shuni do it, I noticed that of those people sitting there with blankets on, all of a sudden, did you ever see a man who smiles and he's got no teeth, 1 or 2 or 3? Somebody punched him or he lost or something? Well, that's what I seen, because there was a man, and then nobody, and a blanket on the ground with nobody sitting there, just a blanket. And then as I scroll further, there's another space, like no teeth, nobody sitting there, blanket on the ground. Then as I went further, I seen a shawl of woman, and they're just on the ground, no woman wearing it. Oh, he says, I'm going to explain it to you, how come it's like that. He said, that first one, the blanket's on the ground, that one is Corbett Sundown from the Tonawanda Seneca chief. And that other one over there is Jake Thomas from the Cayuga of the Six Nation. That one over there is the Buck, Hubert Buck, George Buck. That's that woman that sang last night. All her great-grandfather and grandparents. That family is all great singers. That woman singing last night, I was proud of her. Did you see her? Her heart just busted. What you seen last night is the same thing of our sacred elders. And there was hundreds of them before the residential school, and now there's only this much. And then as he went on more, he said, that one over there is Beeman Logan from Seneca. That one there is Tadodaho. Yeah, Leon Shenandoah. And that shawl is Audrey Shenandoah, Alice Papineau, and Josie Logan, Verna Logan's wife. They're all passed years ago. I know all of them. And he asked me to look again. And I look again, and I burst out laughing. I laughed so hard, and he says to me, no, they're not gone. You starish. Not that you starish. That means, what is so funny? He says, because I seen Tom Porter sitting right there with a blanket on. I seen myself. I thought it was funny. And I laughed. No, he said, it's right. You've seen it right. But he said, I'm going to tell you that for not too long, you won't have that blanket on. It will be underground too, like those others. It didn't scare me at all, because I know that's what's going to happen. Everybody knows that. So why be afraid? Anyway, then he says to me, he says, about 65, 70 years ago, almost all the ceremony house of all the nations of our Indian people had diminished, just only a handful of old people running the ceremony. Because all our young, the American Canadian, took it to the cities of Toronto and Chicago and San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York City. Missionaries took them. College took them. And nobody's home to learn what we're supposed to know. He says, and 65, 70 years ago, only a handful of old people were running all them ceremonies that they're supposed to do for our nations. And he says, I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking. If there was a big canoe, big ship or canoe, boat, going on the Niagara Falls River, and it's coming, and all the people's in there, women, men, kids, teenagers, is all in that canoe. And we're coming right next to the Niagara Falls that goes 200 foot down into the rocks. We came only 6 inches from going over. That's how close our nations came to the extinction of our people 65 and 70 years ago. And that man, whom I say is the creator, I think it was creator, maybe one of his helpers, but I think it was creator directly, says, that's what I want you to know. But I don't want your fires to go out. I don't want the language to die. I don't want the ceremonies to die. So what you don't know, 65, 70 years ago, I am the one, he said. I went over there and I touched Corbett Sundown on his head. I went over there and I touched Josie Logan, Jake Thomas, Leon Shenandoah, Jake Swamp, Jock Hill, and you. And then I went to the Ojibways and I touched them too. I hold them and I touched their head. Then I went to the Cree country and I did the same. And then I went to Lakota, Hopi and Navajo, Cherokee and Seminole. And I put my hand on them 65 years ago. But you don't know that. And from that time, I put it in your head the way I think, so that you will have the power and the wherewithal to put more wood on your nation's fire so it won't go out. And then the Freedom School was born. And then the immersion programs from Cayuga, Mohawk, Onondagas start to be created. Survival schools start to be. Indian school in Minnesota, the little schoolhouse there. And all over, our flags start to raise. And our kids start to sing. And our lounge house, from hardly nobody in there, is filled to capacity today. He said, I did that. And I want you to know. I'm the one who gave you that power and the insight to do that, the energy. And he says, and the reason I came to see you is because you're going to go to that meeting of the Great Law, and I want you to tell them that. And I did. And he says, whenever you go somewheres, there will be people, many people, you're going to talk to them. And so I take this moment now, because that's what he told me. For those of you here from all the nations that carry knowledge of our tradition and our language and our song and our ways of life, to you men and women in this room, he told me to tell you that he says thank you. Big thank you that you did what he wanted you to do. And because of that, we're still here today. Because of our stubborn grandmothers and our stubborn grandfathers who refused to give up. And then he said, since that time, that canoe with all the people back up, away from going over the falls. And the lounge houses and the ceremony houses is getting full again. And then he says, but in a little while, all those people you've seen with the blankets and the shawl will not be here anymore, and all blankets and shawl will be flat on the ground. But in a little while after that, you will notice that under every blanket and every shawl, there will be something growing under there. It's the kids and our grandkids, and they will wear those blankets and those shawls. And when that happens, that creator, that man said to me, the power I gave you guys to turn that ship around from extinction, I am going to give those kids that wears that blanket and shawl 7 times the power I gave you guys. 7 times the power. And if you want to see the nations rise and the flame of our nations burn again and the sacred smoke pierce the sky, you wait till those kids are born, for they will have 7 times the power. What a wonderful thing to hear. So you young people, you're going to be full of power. And it's our job, those of us left, to make sure you make good decisions with that power. Don't destroy your people. Don't lead them to the wrong places. For you're the ones that's going to be the grandfather the way we are now to our grandkids. So as long as us live, us older guys, don't be afraid to ask us if you need to know something. As long as we breathe and live, we will be with you. And with that, I say to you all, before I finish talking about the children, over at our own house, not a little while ago, our woman had an okiwe. Okiwe is like a ghost dance. And it was really lots of tears at that one than I ever seen or ever heard of. Lots of people was crying. That's because those spirits is being seen and being felt again. And when I will share with you that when somebody passes away, if it's a natural death, or any death, but a natural death, like from old age or something like that, or sickness or whatever, but it's natural, it is the belief of our elders that that person who's ready to cross over is given 7 times the power that they normally have from day to day in order to cross over from this planet to the planet where we came from, the Kaugalungyake. And that's the same teaching that when a man and woman is pregnant for 9 months, they have 7 times the power that they normally had before pregnancy. Because the Creator loves babies so much, He gives them that extra power to make sure that that precious little baby is born. And so, but if somebody dies in an accident, or because somebody shot them, or trauma, not natural, then it is our belief of our elders, and it is the practice of our elders, that that spirit can't go to the next world. It gets stuck where that tragedy took place. It gets stuck there. And so my uncle says that if there's a car accident somewhere, you have to go over there with a food and a sacred tobacco, and there's a ceremony you got to do there where that accident took place and retrieve that spirit to release it from that tragedy so it can go on like regular. And I've seen it where one of our young men was killed in Texas. That's a long way from Akwesasne. And we had to send young guys to go there, where in Texas, to go get that spirit and bring it home. I've seen it where people drowned in the river and fall in the ice with a car. And our leaders, my grandfather goes there, and he uses tobacco and food, and he stands at the edge of the ice where they fell in, and he talks, and he says, I come after you. I take you back. So now you can go back to the Creator's land. So there's a ritual. And so I'm thinking now, because it's prescribed in our tradition, so all of those children from the nations that their graves are not found, I don't know where they are, they're stuck there yet. Because it was tragic what happened to them. And so that's why it's important to find where they are. And then each nation has to consult with their oldest elders, the one that still knows the history and the original teaching of the Creator. I'm not talking about being Catholic or Methodist or Mormon or Pentecost or nothing. I'm talking about the real spiritual. To consult there how to handle that. And there may be a little bit variances, but it's pretty much the same. And that's when our young will be free. And that's when we can begin our work to make sure the next generations will never be lost again. And with that, I want to say thank you for the invitation to come here to talk to you. And again, whatever I said has not been said to hurt anyone's feeling, but it's been said just to liberate us so that we can spread our wings and fly to tomorrow. Yahweh, thank you.
You'll stay here with us?
Someone saying Yahweh to Laganoha, my uncle here. The first time, I didn't really get to introduce myself yesterday. Tang higero ni yung yets, okwali ni wagit alod, onayunda aga na ni wagohunjod. So my name is Andrew Thomas. I'm Oneida Nation, Bear Clan, and it's funny thinking about these weird, like, full circle things in life. I remember the first time ever hearing him talk, I had to have been about maybe 5 or 6 years old, in something just like this. I think we were talking about it on the way up here. It was in Fort Erie. It was another residential school, like, conference, and I remember that being my first exposure to these kind of things. Of course, I was just a kid playing under these tables, but still. And for a lot of the things that he's talking about, I myself, I'm lucky and privileged to have been able to learn from these guys. Alan, Jock, Tom, some of the other greats that aren't here anymore. And I think that's a really fitting story about what he was talking about just now. I know I don't have any allotted time, so I don't want to go on too far, but I can attest to the things that he's speaking for. Last summer, one of my cousins was killed by a drunk driver while she was walking on the road at night. And as much as I've been learning from these guys, it's never really been formal. It's always just, you're around us, you watch what's going on. And with what happened, that's our tradition. You have to go and get that spirit. And I had never done that before. And one of my teachers, Howard Elijah, and he's like, "No, you're ready, Let's go. I'm going to show you how to do it." And I don't really consider myself gifted with a spiritual sight or anything, so I was kind of like, I don't know what to do. I hope I'm going to do this right. And not knowing what to expect. As soon as I got out of the car, I could hear her voice. And I'm sorry for using this language, but she says, "Shit, took you long enough." Because it had to wait a day. And as we go through these words in our language, we're running through these motions, and I asked him, I said, "Well, what do I do physically?" And we go out there with a fan, and we have some water, and he says, "I want you to pick her up. Just go through that motion like you were going to pick her up." And so I went to get down, and just as soon as I did that, it's like I felt her swing around my whole body like a monkey and jump on my back and then piggyback. And I had never felt anything like this before. And I could hear her in my ear. And she says, "Finally." And for the stuff that he's talking about, is exactly all the things that we're doing here, the things that we're fighting for. So I just want to, really acknowledge the power and strength in the words that he's saying, and encourage everybody else that, if you have that type of influence, if you have the power to have that kind of impact in your community, to keep using your good mind and keep encouraging it. So I'm going to sing another song here just so that maybe we can feel a little bit better. I don't know if anybody, out there likes Patsy Cline. Well, because like what these schools did, they tried to remove our language. And one of the things, like as I'm a teacher, I found that language is really key to our identity, and that doesn't just have to sit in a certain space, a certain box. So I made this song, and if any of you guys know San Antonio Rose, maybe you'll kind of recognize what's going on here. I'll translate it right away. It says, I know my partner really, I've been thinking about this song that my partner loves. And so you know what? I'm going to make a song just like it. And it talks about basically the chorus. San Antonio Jagowe no yo kind we Waganuto Nyongo Jini Galanud Lona Yelana Nue Sate Ke Adlana de no yo kind we Hey Adona Kalakwio no Knegweli Kayandeli Nunda Ze Ageji yo San Antonio Jagowe no yo kind we hi. No.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for the song and the drum. And also, I would like to say thank you for your sharing, for your knowledge, the teachings from our elder Tom Porter, the teachings of exactly what we're here to talk about, exactly what we're here to talk about, our laws. So with that, thank you. Give him a hand again. Thank you. What we would like to do now until 12 o'clock, until we break for lunch, is we'd like to invite you. If you have any questions of the speakers that spoke this morning from the panel or the keynote address, or if you have any comments, or if you have anything that you would like to discuss, we would like to open up the floor. We do have 4 microphones. We have 2 at the front. We have 2 at the back. Just approach the microphone. But just a reminder to be mindful of the time. We have about 40 minutes before we break for lunch. But it is important to share, but to be mindful that there may be others that wish to also share and have stories as well. Also, it's been discussed that if you're unable to speak, I think the teaching yesterday, of course, was the water, to drink the water. That will help you speak. But if you're unable to speak, we also have the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. They are here with us in the foyer. They are here throughout the gathering, and they will be doing statement gathering, and you can visit their booth at the foyer if you wish to share, and that will be documented and recorded. So again, I am inviting the floor if you wish to address the gathering or address one of the speakers. So I have a microphone over here. Go ahead.
Segons kana go. Ne wa ya Galix de hoan jalisto. My name's almost pierced the earth, a translation of it. And my English name is David Cole, but people know me as Brian in Akwesasne. I got a question for the house, I guess. We were told that the tears that we shed are to be placed in this bag so it could be burned at the fire at the end of the event. In the presentations, I had tears. And of course, with tears, your nose runs. So when I blow my nose, does that go in the bag too?
The short answer to that is yes. Thank you. The microphone in the back, and then we'll come back to the front.
Welcome, Magantik. Notes pugue sa agwe muyan kape mamu statu otaman magay no te hatam skata ko kakio uya gichigi goy yogo magay mo tamika notes mina ko tagahan kagi mamo ni chiga isiinok matsuge yogo chigano te nistagi goy ay mo taman yagananto ki temi I been to these meetings now in Edmonton and in Vancouver, and I listened to a lot of good words, and I was a little bit reluctant to come and speak. Many times I think that what I have to say is not helpful. I wanted to begin by telling you who I am not. I am not an Indian. I am not a Canadian. I am not a treaty. I am not a status. I am not a non-status. I'm not a Métis. I'm not a Cree. Nia Nehio. Pusatse Nehio. I am a Nehio. I wondered about, I say this not to dishonor who you choose to be, like those t-shirts that talk about reclaiming your identity and who you are. I wondered about the legacy of those martyrs, those young ones that gave up their lives. My sister, who was 85, was 6 years old, and she was thrown down the stairs and woke up in a hospital. She thought it was the same day, but she had been in a coma for 1 month. Take the Indian from the child. A young man was embarrassed because his underwear was bloody. He had a visitor. And wanted clean underwear. A young woman was disciplined by the nuns and the children, made to watch. And the man whipped her until she died. take the Indian from the child. A young man was outside on the, there's a fire escape, I suppose you call it, and he was thrown from there. It was made out of steel. And he died. You take the Indian from the child. We have many stories. This happened at Blue Quills Residential School. And we're in the process of doing the ground penetrating radar. I'm praying we don't find anyone. But we don't know what happened to those two that I mentioned yet. I have a difficulty with the whole concept of reconciliation because the word for me assumes that you have two parties that have a dispute, disagreement, and I can't see where that has happened in our case. What I do see is genocide that we still feel the effects of, not cultural genocide, genocide, because we were meant to be wiped off the face of the earth as was previously mentioned. But I think in terms of reconciliation that the accountants talk about, where you're going to balance the books, where you will be treated equally. And in my language, the term that was used for treaty, where two peoples were going to look at each other equally. And I think that perhaps is one of the legacies, in addition to reclaiming our identity. But we need to talk about our place in this place that in our language we call it Misiruachi, the island of the turtle, and why we were put here, and our own legacy. In our prophecies, we were told that they were to be brought here from across the ocean, and a helper was going to bring them here, which was the wind. And we were meant to teach because they had lost their way. And I know many times it's difficult to forgive. In our language, we call it pagite tamatuan. We have 44 ways of being. In various times in my life, I have called them commandments or laws. But it is a way to live that we were told from Manitou. And it's really simple things. The first one, Sagituk, love one another. I think if you know one and you can practice it through your whole being, you will know all the others. But forgiveness, pagite tamatuan, is one of them. I wonder if at some point And I'm sure it's been discussed where we can perhaps think about a memorial of some sort, much like the one they have for the Vietnam veterans in Washington, D.C. The ones that gave up their lives in those schools, but also all the survivors, to be honored or remembered in some way, because we need to teach what happened. Take the Indian from the child. Now we do the opposite. Put the Indian back in the child. And what does that mean? In my mind, I think there's two ways. One, the elder talked about it. Our responsibility to our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but also the people that came here to share the land with us, and their responsibility to share no expense, to spare no effort, to spare nothing, so that we can put the Indian back in the child. And perhaps, maybe that's also a legacy. In my small family, we have, not long ago, my great-grandchild came into the sweat lodge, 4 days old, as is our custom, and received a name, among other things that happened in the sweat, to reclaim the identity, like the t-shirt says. And so, me too, I'm seeing those things that are happening. But there is difficulty because of the language that I'm using now, where we need to spare no expense, so that all our little children and all the young people can have their identity, their language, their culture, their history, their medicines. Stay go go mam skutaman no kumavan tipia kiatam skataguk. Kinanaskum tanaw gakyo.
Gananaskaman, Miigwech, thank you for your sharing and your very powerful stories. They are very heavy stories, but they are stories that need to be told. So Miigwech for that. I'm going to go to the microphones in the front here, and then I'm going to go back to the front microphone here, and then I'll come back. So front over here on my left, if you can go ahead.
Good morning, Buzu on in. My name's Brian Joseph Norman. I'm a proud Michif from the Red River Settlement in Manitoba. I come here feeling nervous, but I feel strong enough and brave enough to share a little bit what I need to be told. My wife's in the spirit world that slipped away from me 2 years ago. And I feel her spirit with me right now and giving me that strength. I'm a product of day residential school. I attended school at age 5 years old. I spoke my Michif language. Each time I spoke, I got hit on the hand with a big stick. Not that big, but today I know it's a a yardstick, a yard ruler. And I got spoken. And I remember getting taken to this dark room from a sister. And at 5 years old, I was scared. Scared. It was in the dark. And I just stood there and I felt something down there, going on there. And all I did is cried and cried and cried. She told me after, she says, you don't tell nobody you're going to go to hell. You go tell your sins to the priest. I went to the confession booth, and the priest says, what have you sinned for today, my son? I said, I haven't sinned. He told me to go kneel down and say prayers and ask for forgiveness. This is where I learned how to lie, because I didn't want to go back to that dark place. As after that, when I got off the bench, he took me to that dark place. And I was broken spirit since then. I didn't know who I was. I lost my culture, my spirituality, my beliefs, my values. I lost the little boy. I had that little boy inside me for many years. I was on my way to corrections, and as a young man, I was shunned from my community because I had a lot of hate, guilt, resentment, and guilt and shame for I thought it was the way I treated people with disrespect. And I had to learn to forgive myself, to heal, to learn how they treated my people in my community. And when I shared my story, the more I talk about it, the more I remember more and more. And the more I hear people's story, it triggers me a lot because I start to remember deeper and deeper that I forgot. You see, even today, I have to sleep with a light on because I'm scared. I'm scared to go to the bathroom. And for many years, I had a bedwetting problem. And so now I sleep with a nightlight. And I'm thankful for the Creator giving me that strength, that bravery to come up here and speak to you people about this. Because what we need to do as leaders and also as knowledge keepers, elders and adults here, we need to teach our children how to pray again. They don't know how to pray. You don't have to have a book to pray. A prayer is say, thank you, God, for life is a prayer. A simple couple sentences is a prayer to start, a beginning. We also need to learn to teach them how to cry again. I forgot to learn. And the adults too, the youth, they need to learn how to cry, to let those beautiful tears come down. That's medicine that helps you. Learn to laugh hard. When was the last time we had a good laugh that you had tears coming down? It's been many, many years for us. And when you have those tears coming down, when you're laughing hard, it's medicine. And learn to share. Our children don't know how to share now. We need to teach them how to do that. Now it's mine, mine, mine. We need to share our stories with them. But most of all, we need to teach them to listen and to be patient and to respect themselves and respect us. I just want to say I want to thank NCTR for supporting me. Also my sport helper that's with me. She's not feeling well today. But I want to thank you all for listening to my story. I'm a proud Michif man today. I work in an institution. I teach culture, spirituality to our men and women that are broken spirit, that are incarcerated in jail, that don't know who they are or where they come from. And I try to help them understand and to give them a choice to to do better. They're lost there. We need a lot of help in the Justice Department, and also in the social worker and our children taken away from families as well. When I hear about our missing children, my father was a gravedigger at the cemetery where I went to residential school. He buried babies there and priests. My mom won't talk about it. My dad slipped away a year ago, and he got sick many years ago while working there. The girls stayed there at the day school in the monastery. The boys took a school bus, but because my dad was a graveyard digger, we got to stay in a house far down by the Cinnabon River, and we had the long way to walk by the river to go to church. And once going to church, that's where I first entered that dark room. So I want to say to Miigwech for listening to my story. I ask you to respect my story. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Miigwech, thank you very much for sharing with us. I'm going to go to the other microphone in the front. Go ahead.
Ani, Jalen Asinaway, Sagamak Minwa, Serpent River First Nation, Nandonjaba. I just want to say Kachimi Gwech to the speakers, the organizers of this event, the attendees, and my fellow youth who are attending. And most of all, the survivors, a big Kachimi Gwech goes out to you, the survivors. Because without you, your strengths, your perseverance, and bravery, we all wouldn't be here. We gather here for these 2 days to learn and also to heal. Residential schools are a thing of the past, yes? But even though those schools are a thing of the past, our trauma as an Indigenous community as a whole are still here today in the present. The pain is there. Our people are still fighting for our rights. We continue fighting for truth and reconciliation. We as Indigenous people have been fighting for so long, and we finally are being heard. But that doesn't mean the fight ends there, because the government and church is finally hearing our words and seeing our pain that they have inflicted on us in an attempt to assimilate us. We still have to fight to bring our language back, our culture back, our teachings and our traditions back, so we can carry on our traditions and teachings for future generations to come. As the one man said earlier, we were this close to becoming a vanishing population. If we were to stop fighting now, to stop learning now, is stopping future generations of learning our beautiful culture, our languages, and our traditions. I spoke in Thunder Bay last month, and the thing I said there, and I'm gonna say it again here, we need to get more youth involved in these gatherings to learn and carry on the teachings our elders give us. It is our job as the youth to continue the work even after our elders are gone. We want to continue the work that the elders have started. And yes, I am aware that there is other youth in this room with me, but I believe there should be more youth from different communities from all over to come to these gatherings to learn, to help, and to heal. And also our elders, our community Also, our elders, our community members, we the youth want to help to the fullest extent that we possibly can, because as another man said earlier, we have the most weight on our shoulder because it is us, the youth, that will have to continue fighting our future to keeping our culture, the language, and the traditions alive. It is in with my truest belief that a strong relationship with the elders and the youth will be a foundation for a better future for our communities and our people and for the future generations to come. Kachimi Gwech for hearing my words, and once again, Kachimi Gwech.
Kachimi Gwech, it's very important to hear the voices of the youth that are here and to hear their thoughts, their recommendations, and what needs to be done moving forward. So again, Miigwech, thank you. I'm going to go to the other microphone in the front and then to the back. So microphone in the front, go ahead.
Kuyanami, Jackana Wanguyunga, no Yami Toyuma. Ikayok to you between the Sungatana, Okadakata, Kaya Ubla, Peter Elnak, Tavan Sibunian Koktugara. Tusana Kauman, a mother. Ikayok to you, Mabluma, Inuk Tiut, inuktigut atausiugap tatavani Russia mi United States mi Canada mi amaru akukituni. Atausiugapta ikayoktiitsiartugu tamakkuninga nunaqaqqaartuvini oqatiptinnik tamani Canada mi. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Jack Anawak. I would like to express a very deep feeling of support for our one of our elders from Nunavut, Peter Ilnuk, this morning, because we Inuit consider ourselves one group from across Russia, United States, Canada, and Denmark. We are very much together on our support for our First Nations and Métis brothers and sisters. Tamannali ilitaqayautiarnia awaptanuna qaartuvini tigut taanna governor yutagvani uqatsiammarigiaqalerman ilitaqayaptigit ilaakkoorlusi piqartusi. If we're going to get the government to truly reconciliate with the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis, then it's going to have to follow up on his promise that they're going to recognize each and every one of the indigenous groups as nations, because we're nations. We were nations before Christopher Columbus took a wrong turn and ended up here. I really believe that reconciliation has to be total recognition of our culture and language, and recognition of the fact that there was attempted assimilation, attempted genocide, not being allowed to use our language in schools. So I just want to express my deep support for our First Nation Métis brothers and sisters as Inuit. Kuyanamik, thank you.
Thank you very much. The microphone in the back on my left with the green jacket.
All right. I was just holding up the line here for the elder that's going to share with you, but he wants me to go ahead first and say a few words. We just wanted to let you know that we are still here. The elder just standing behind me, we want to share while we are still here, still using our languages. I'm from Treaty 3 area. I'm right in between Winnipeg and Thunder Bay. The language that I speak is Ojibwe. We're one of the few people that can still speak our languages, who attended residential schools. Miigwachma kibam nagusik. Chinnaguatan what Nitawachama Angika Nigapiza says Ashnabe. Kishwattigia Kiotapana Ognga Benochiok, Pakangi without Chijawat, to Bikna Mondogi Wukpakan. Kishwattigia Oak, Dina Benochiok, Wawa segregation is Gazok. That's one of the languages that we're still able to speak. So don't ever, when people say that we have lost our languages, it's not true. We can still speak it. And we will always be here with that language, whatever first language that we speak. It's such a beautiful language to hear. I started working with high school kids. I used to work with university kids, but their mind was somewhere else already about, I want to become a lawyer. I want to become a doctor. So I approached the younger people, high school students. No understand oh, it's so good that what you're going to be sharing about who you are. That's what the high school students are expressing, eh? So that's what I do. I go and tell them about you beautiful people, about the gifts that you carry, the language, the culture. And best of all, the greatest gift the Creator gave you was laughter, that humor, eh? So we're all capable of healing ourselves. Just, I'm going to work on the smile. Like hers.
Okay. Tanzania Hadi tiane pandata hunzu njana the best ba hunne si hunti salle nagana tele ku hadjan kesna nankalto chitle kayas the best su hadjan the best si tagesna honta su hatne. I could thank everybody here. Thank you, good morning, and thank you. I like what I heard about them ladies singing and them two little ones, and that really touched my heart because that's what we're doing our best for Natlawetan, teaching them our language, and it's hard to translate it to English, to summarize it, makes it so short. And Tom, si be su nedani, with my heart, you sure told us the good thing. This is what we're doing our best, but you know what? I'm 78, I'm still chill, I'm still young fella yet. Thank you very much.
Hello. I just.
Yeah, in the back.
Yeah,
Just continuing
okay.
on from that.
Yeah, just before I disappear, I want to extend a tribute to St. Anne's Indian Residential School in Albany, St. Albany, Port Albany, because that's probably what you would call concentration camp. They had an electric chair there, and one of my friends that I call my brother attended that school, Edmund. Guys like Edmund and Frank, Margaret, and they're still here with us. Edmund. I'll let Edmund share that experience.
Miigwech, I didn't expect to be up here, but I guess that's how it works sometimes. Truth and reconciliation sounds good, doesn't it? We're doing it, and I'm proud of the people in this room. We're doing it. However, Canada talks and talks, and they sound good. That's about it. There's no depth. There's no heart. The only time that will really come to be is when the churches come forth and admit as to where our children are buried. They know. Back home, we have boys missing for 50 years now. I won't say missing, which they are, but they were killed. Their lives were taken. They were murdered. That's all we have to say. They know where those boys are buried, but they keep silent. And I'm pretty sure the authorities, the government, with their enforcers like the RCMP, do know. but no one's coming forward. I have a mother-in-law who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer just this past week. One of them is her brother. She's now 86 winters. I hope, I pray that the church comes forward and tells us where they buried that child. Because they know. So my mother-in-law can leave this world in peace, knowing that her brother was found, and the families, the two other families that are accepted. So, Mingwesh, to all of you that spoke, all the Gishayok, the elders, Tom, this is a special message for you. Over 40 years ago, I met you. And I was really enraged, hurt. I was hurting my wife, like physically, because I came from one of those schools and I didn't know how to handle a relationship. I spoke to you for 10 minutes. You were the second elder I spoke to. The first one was a woman from back home. She's still alive today, who set me on this good road. And I also remember saying that we have to roll up our sleeves and start doing the work that you teach us. And just to tell you, I'm now entering my 69 winter. And I have 2 boys, I have grandchildren, and I've done my best. Not only I was a father, but I've done my best to be a dad. And my wife, who still looks my way, I think it's been 48 years we've been together. I hope I get that right. So she knows. She might be watching on Facebook, that damn Facebook. So I want to thank all of you that spoke. Maybe it's time we demand the churches to come forward. A fine group of people who say that confess, and yet they're not willing to. Miigwech to all of you, and miigwech to the organizers, and to the lady, I keep forgetting her name, but to who spoke yesterday, who's leading this. You always speak with your heart, and I appreciate that. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Thank you. And then actually I'm going to go to the back and then come back to the front. So the microphone in the back.
I nistem joid na. Nanaskom. Utaite. Sasibi snoshin. I ain't Singaslam Miabanashkom. First of all, my Indian name is Miabanashkom. I'm from Sasibi, which translates into Cree, the Great River. We are the Great River people. That's the first thing I wanted to say. But what I want to share, I'm going to be fast because Lange is here. We're in the midst. I keep thinking of the prophecy that was foretold to me by my grandfather, that my generation will experience the Great Awakening. He talked about a time when things will come at you as if 2 worlds are in a collision course. Things will surface that we never really talked about or experienced. That's the first thing I want to say. And for me, we're in the midst of it. A lot of stuff that's happening around us. And, back home, there were 4 schools. 2 were burnt, and they keep rebuilding it. There was a mission school there. And people speak about babies, born in those schools. People that went there spoke about hearing babies in the nighttime, morning, evening. And back then they had furnaces, with wood. And we hear stories that there was a baby, you would hear a baby cry for about a few minutes and then stop. So those are issues that we still need to deal with. We're all in different stages of healing. Where I'm from, we're just starting. Quebec is always behind. We look to the West to your experiences. And there's incidents. We had a fire going there about 2 or 3 years ago. When we were there, you could actually see, How do you justify that? Actually seeing a black rope come out? Because those schools have been demolished from the bush. And also seeing babies crying for help. Those are stories that weren't really talked about. And we have to live with that. Now, how do we justify that? I've been in residential school for 9 years. I don't have to tell you what happened. You experience similar issues with people that work for the church or work for our God. And they used to talk about love, Love is to reap children. That was their way. Us, it's different. For me, when we speak about issues during the time of the residential school era, we're speaking about spirits, the spirit of the children. In our language, when we speak, always has to do with the spirit. To know our language and the terminology, part of what you speak about always has to do with the spirit. No, there's stories, yes, graves that were found. For me, they're speaking. Those children that were buried a long time ago, even those that were burned, the babies. That's a lot to take. And they told us 2 years to do the ground penetrate, whatever. It's not going to take 2 years. It's going to take, I don't know, because all these are starting to surface. So that's what I wanted to share. You know, we become alive. And we always work with the Spirit, guidance. We ask for guidance all the time. So I'd like to thank the elders that spoke this morning. And that elder, Tom Porter, I've met him many years back. Even Thomas Bianca. 30 years of journey. I made my journey. 35 years. Nobody wanted to hear me in my community. But I held strong. Get re-victimized by our own people. Now, the truth is surfacing. And there's things that happen. I'm glad I'm here now among you. Thank you so much.